Hello and welcome back to Wurth Live. I'm Jason, your host for this live stream, and if you are new, welcome. Wurth Live is a monthly show that brings manufacturers, suppliers, and knowledge directly to you, the consumer, in a fun and interactive way. During today's episode, please feel free to ask any questions that you may have, or just drop a hello in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. Now, let me tell you about today's special guest. For over 50 years, Dynabrade has earned a reputation for excellence and a position of leadership in the innovative design, manufacturing of unique portable pneumatic abrasive tools, related accessories, and dust collection. From grinding to sanding, Dynabrade truly has it all. During today's show, not only will the team from Dynabrade be demonstrating their products, they will also be giving us a behind-the-scenes tour of their manufacturing facility. And if that's not enough, thanks to Dynabrade, we will be giving away 3 sanding packages to 3 lucky viewers, so stick around for that later in the program. Now let's get this show on the road. First up, live from the front door of Dynabrade headquarters in Buffalo, New York, is Mr. Mike Seraph. Let's bring him in here.
Hey, thanks, Jason. And thanks, everybody, for joining us today for Wurth Live with Dynabrade. Dynabrade is excited to be partnering with the Wurth Group, and we have an informative program planned for you today. My name is Mike Seraph, Dynabrade's Director of Strategic Accounts. In the building behind me is our corporate headquarters. We're located just outside of Buffalo, New York. For over 50 years, Dynabrade has been recognized as the global leader in abrasive power tools, and we're obviously very proud to be a made-in-USA manufacturer. Today we're going to take you inside the factory where you'll actually be able to see some tools being made. But first, we're going to take you into our training center, where our corporate trainer will show you one of our newer tools, the Extreme Orbital Sander, in action. That, along with a couple other tools that you'll see, are very popular across many industries, including woodworking, fiberglass, and solid surface. After that, one of our product managers will show you our Clean Air Solutions category, which is made up of high-efficiency portable vacuums and downdraft sanding tables. Then I'll be coming to you again, but this time from inside the factory. I'll be in our Orbital Sander manufacturing cell, showing you some precision parts that go into the tools, as well as the final assembly on a sander. We're very excited about some promotional items that we have packaged together for some lucky winners, and Jason will be talking to you about those. If you have any questions as we go, please feel free. And again, thank you very much for joining us today for Wurth Live with Dynabrade. Back to you, Jason.
Thank you so much, Mike. As Mike was mentioning, our sanding package that we're going to be giving away is this right here. So we'll be telling you more about that very shortly, so stay tuned for that. And now let me bring it to Vince in the Dynabrade Training Center. How's it going, Vince?
Oh, not too bad. Thanks, Jason. Glad for you to be hosting us here today and glad to be presenting.
Absolutely. We're very excited to learn all about these products for sure.
Yeah, so as Mike had mentioned, I have a few tools here to show you, but the one that I'm going to be starting off with is the Extreme that Mike had mentioned. So this is our Extreme Random Orbital Sander, and the tool itself is coming in at about 1.8 pounds and 0.3 horsepower, and that weight to power ratio is actually the best in the industry. So Dynabrade really believes firmly that we have the best power to weight ratio in the industry, and we believe that this is a really great tool to get into your customers' hands or to get into your hands.
Well, Travis has a couple dozen in their shop. That's pretty cool.
That's always good to hear. We love hearing that. I'm glad they're working out for you. This tool itself is available in a few different configurations. You're going to be able to find this in a 3-inch version. We have a 5 and a 6-inch version. And we also have them in a vacuum configuration if you needed that. The one I have here in my hand is non-vacuum. But again, we do have a central vacuum version available. And the pads are going to be available in either a vinyl or a PSA configuration, as well as hook face, also known as a Velcro configuration. Important to note, too, with these tools or with any of our random orbital sanders, is that our pads are designed specifically to the size of the tool. So if you have a 5-inch tool, it's designed to be ran specifically with a 5-inch weight-mated sanding pad. So on a 5-inch tool, if you use a 6-inch pad, what you're going to wind up ending up with is a lot of swirl marks or defects in your workpiece. So it's really important to make sure that we keep Dynabrade weight-mated pads with our Dynabrade tools.
Absolutely.
Sorry, what was that, Jason?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you.
Awesome.
But I do have a question, though. So how much CFM is needed for these? Like, what size air compressor do you recommend for one of these Extreme sanders?
One of these extremes, they take 19 SCFM as a standard measure. That's what our X51 requires. And in general, to be able to run this tool all day without having to worry about your tank recharging, if you get a 5 horsepower compressor, key to that would be a 2-stage motor, a 2-stage compressor, and a minimum of an 80-gallon tank. And obviously the larger the tank that you have, the better. But if you start out with a minimum of an 80-gallon tank, that should keep you up and able to be running this tool consistently and get your work finished.
Nice.
So one last point about the tool before I demonstrate it is the orbits that it's going to be available in. So our extremes are going to be available in a 3/16 orbit. Those orbits are designed specifically for like general purpose sanding, just leveling of a surface. And they're also going to be available in a 3/32 orbit. And our 3/32 orbit is intended for ultra fine or finesse sanding, step you would use right before applying any top coat. So I'm going to demonstrate this tool for you here. And as I demonstrate it, I'm going to give a few tips and tricks on operating just to avoid defects in your workpiece and to ensure that you have maximum coverage while you're sanding. So the first tip that I'm going to give you is called the start on and stop off procedure. So essentially you want your tool placed onto the workpiece before you actually depress your throttle lever. And then the same when you are taking your tool off, you want to make sure that the tool is completely removed from the workpiece before you let go of your throttle lever. And that'll be demonstrated here. But the reasoning behind that is to ensure that your tool is fully up to speed. To ensure that the tool is not fully up to speed before it hits your workpiece. If it was fully up to speed and spinning before you dig in, it's going to start immediately digging into the workpiece here. And that's going to avoid that with your on-off method. The other method is going to be called north to south and east to west or west to east. And all that's going to do is ensure the maximum amount of coverage as you're working so you're not overlapping multiple steps. All right, so at this point, I'm just going to demo it and you guys will be able to see it. And you're also going to notice a pretty large cloud of dust here. This is a non-vacuum tool. And then later on in the presentation, we will have a vacuum tool so you guys can see the difference in the source capture. So again, starting on the workpiece, working in a north to south direction, and then an east to west or a west to east, and pulling the tool off of the workpiece before I stopped it, again with the start on and stop off. It's a really two really good and easy methods to work with while you're using your tool to help avoid any defects in your workpiece. So the next tool that I'm actually going to talk about here is our lightweight Dynabrade. Our lightweight Dynabrade is it's a tool meant to be used with sanding stars. It's a 0.4 horsepower motor, and it's a 3,200 RPM tool. And it also comes with this nice swivel flow control on the back of the tool here. Essentially what it does is the swivel helps keep your airline from getting tangled up throughout the day. And then you have the flow control on here if you did desire to reduce the speed of the tool. Again, it's using sanding stars. This is going to be a spindle mounted sanding star. Really easy to change the abrasives on these when needed. It's just 2 wrenches on the collet here. You would loosen the collet, put your new sanding star in, tighten it up, and you'd be ready to run again. So I'll demonstrate this real quick. A lot of the places you'll find these used is primarily in woodworking, but we see them in other substrates as well. These are going to be used for any type of contour or intricate lines, and we see them a lot on raised panel sanders, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate it on for you here. So again, we see these a lot with the raised panel sanders, and the sanding star is flexible, so it fits right into the recess here, and is a good tool to use on these types of applications. So it's a really quick and easy process to like defuzz or scuff this. And again, it fits perfectly right into this recessed edge. So it's a really good tool for that style of application. The last tool that I'm going to talk about here today is going to be our Dynafine backsplash sander. So this tool is going to be kind of a must-have for anybody in the solid surface industry. These are really good for solid surface backsplashes, and they are available with a reverse radius pad, which you see here, and it's used to work on the reverse radius of your backsplashes. And they're also going to be available with your standard radius pad in a few different sizes with your standard radius pad. It's available from a 1/4 inch all the way up to a 5/8 inch radius. And I'll demonstrate that here on how you could use these, as well as the easy pad change and abrasive change on these. And also to note on this, this also comes with your swivel flow control. So it's going to help keep your airline from getting tangled, as well as allow you to control the airflow to the tool to reduce the speed if desired. So I'm starting out on the with the reverse radius pad, working on the backsplash here. Very easy. You just set it on your workpiece. Make sure your air is turned on. And you're able to work this entire reverse radius edge in just one swoop. It's a really good time saver for that type of an application. And now changing to your inside radius pad is really simple. There's 2 notches in the back of the tool here. You just simply lift the pad off of those notches, remove the pad from the adapter, take your new pad, put it over your adapter, line up those notches on the pad.
Now, Vince, does this tool come with both adapters, or are those sold separately? How does that work?
So the adapter itself is the same for both pads. The pads would be sold separately, but it's important to note that we do have a versatility kit available. So the versatility would include the tool itself, your adapter, and then all of the different style pads, as well as an assortment of abrasives. So if they buy the tool individually, they can buy the pads separately, but we do have an option where everything is included.
Okay, and anyone just tuning in, please let us know if you have any questions. Just put them in the comment, and Vince will do his best to, give you an answer.
Yes, sir. All right, so here we're going to demonstrate I've switched the pad here. We're going to demonstrate how to work on the inside radius of your backsplash here. So again, a really simple process with this style pad. And again, there's different pad sizes available for different shaped contours and backsplashes. The abrasive change is really simple on these still. It's a PSA abrasive. So you'll buy the sheets in pre-cut sizes from Dynabrade, or you can buy them in rolls and cut them to size. And the pad change is very simple. Just simply take your old PSA off, get your new sheet, fit it around your pad, and you're good to go. You can start sanding again. So again, a really good tool for solid surface applications. And you can see it in other applications as well, but that's definitely going to be the most popular for it and what the tool is intended for.
Very nice. Thank you. Do you have anything else?
No, I was just going to say at this point, now we'll be going over to Scott for his source capture presentation.
Sounds good. Before we go to Scott, let us tell you how you can win one of the 3 power sanders packs. We're going to just call it Amazingness. All you have to do is send an email to worthlive@wlcna.com. And in your subject, be sure to write Dynabrade. That's all you have to do is send that email in there. Obviously, put your name, way to get in contact with you. And we'll be choosing 3 lucky viewers to win this package valued at over $500. So very excited about that. I will leave that up while we go right to Scott. How is it going there?
Good afternoon, Jason. Good. How are you?
Good. How are you? And what do you do over at the Dynabrade Training Center?
Well, my full title, Scott Biersbach, Product Manager for Clean Air Solutions, which is really a fancy title for dust collection. And my responsibility is to develop the family of dust collection systems for collecting the dust that our tools make.
Well, here's a question right here. How is your product availability?
That's a very good question. So in respect to the vacuum systems, we do stock most of our equipment. Certainly, like the rest of the world, we're maybe suffering a little bit in a couple categories, but it seems to be the norm as of late.
All right.
Okay, so I'll get started here in respect to what we have to offer here today. We're going to talk about really 3 different families of products. We'll start with our ordinary location industrial vacuum system with vacuum tool. Then we'll get briefly into our Division 2 source capture vacuum offering. And then we'll wrap things up with what we call our Downdraft table series of products. Okay, so starting over at ordinary location, what we're seeing here is what we call our Mini Raptor Pro Pack. Okay, there's a a few major features that we'll speak to here that really separate us from the competition. So out of the box, any one of Dynabrade's source capture systems or portable vacuums are what we call a fully conductive system. So what does that mean? Throughout a workday, you have your tool working here and potentially creating a static charge at your workpiece. Okay, so with Dynabrade, right from the tool all the way back to the vacuum hose, we call it a fully conductive vacuum hose. It's impregnated with a carbon material, and it allows that static electricity to be drawn away from the operator, back to the vacuum canister, back to the power cord, and then back to the earth ground or outlet in the building, bringing it back to earth ground. So that's a very important feature when speaking to a day of healthy, safe environment for any particular operator using this system. Okay, if we stay on the conversation of the vacuum hose, standard out of the box, plug and play, we're going to have a 20-foot conductive vacuum hose assembly. That assembly comes with an integrated air line that's incorporated, which fuels the tool. Okay, and then it's got this nice overhose system, which allows that operator, while in use, to keep that vacuum hose from being caught on the edge of a work surface. Okay, so that overhose becomes very important for a very friendly and easy day of work. Another great feature that comes out of the box, of course, is going to be that of our 5-inch extreme sander. Vince already spoke to the fact that we feel we're the leaders in the industry in respect to this weight to power ratio. And of course, I'm very comfortable in saying that we have the most efficient dust collection port and system coming off this tool as well. So we're capturing pretty much all the dust that you're creating right at the source. Again, standard out of the box, this system comes with an auto on-off feature. So I'll turn this feature on here. It's located right here on the side of this Pro cart. And what that auto on-off feature does is it allows you to turn the vacuum on only when the tool is being used. So if I turn the tool on, the vacuum will turn on. When I turn the tool off, it's going to have a 4-second clean out, and then the vacuum system will shut down. Really great for reducing that dBA level or sound level in a facility throughout a workday. We'll show that in a short example here. Okay, so you saw the 4-second clean out upon shutting that tool off. Again, great feature for limiting the amount of sound or noise in your facility. Comes standard, another great feature, comes standard with a powder-coated industrial cart. It's got great storage on top here. It's got a fairly small footprint, so it's not taking a lot of floor space. And it's really bringing all those potential tripping hazards off the floor and onto a nice, unique, small footprint storage center. And then finally, the last feature to speak to in respect to this system here are the stages of filtration. Okay, this Mini Raptor is going to have 2 stages, with the first stage being that of a collection bag, and then we put it through a secondary stage, which is going to be that of a HEPA 13 filter, and that's going to ensure that the exhaust coming out of the back of the system is going to be clean and free of debris or particles. And again, that's going to ensure that full day of health and safety for any particular operator using this system. Now, if we shift from an ordinary location system to what we call our Division 2, there's really just a couple big differences. One is out of the box, this Division 2 system is going to come standard with 2 conductive hose assemblies. So out of the box, this system can support 2 operators working simultaneously and collecting dust through that portable vacuum tool. The real difference between a Division 2 and ordinary location is that these systems, we have them both in an electric and a pneumatic offering. These systems were designed, tested, and certified to not be the potential source of ignition for a dust fire or explosion. So that becomes important if OSHA comes through a facility and says, hey, we need the next level of safety in this particular area. I would really like you to go to a Division 2 expectation or safety level. These systems, again, were designed to absolutely not be a potential source of ignition. So a safety audit or an OSHA inspection is generally going to drive you toward the direction of a Division 2 system.
So, Scott, what hose recommendation do you have for these vacuums? Like, what's the maximum length, especially you were mentioning multiple users, instead of getting them really close together, what's the footage we can use?
Sure, good question. So out of the box standard, we provide a 20-foot length in any one of our vacuum systems. We have tested and proven that we can stay at an efficient capture level all the way up to a 60-foot range. So we will absolutely have the opportunity to go up to 60 feet if indeed that operator needs to go up to a ceiling or to a different station a little further away. 60 foot is the key number there.
Nice.
Okay, so let's get into the downdraft table offering. Okay, so Vince spoke to 3 different tools that we offer here at Dynabrade. Only one of those tools, being the Extreme Random Orbital, has the opportunity for a vacuum collection. When we get into the different tools that maybe don't lend themselves well to a shroud or a vacuum collection option, as we saw in tool 2 and 3, we would then shift to a downdraft table as the proper system for collecting dust. Okay, so this entire top here is perforated with a proprietary hole pattern for dust collection. You'll see the slots along the front of the system as well as the sides and the back that also are used for dust collection in respect to any dust that finds its way over the edge. And it's a very nice opportunity to collect dust with those tools that don't have the opportunity for source capture. Okay, we're looking at the smallest offering that stands in front of me right now. We also have 2 separate sizes. We have a 33 by 41 as well as a 36 by 72, which is going to be our largest offering in this downdraft table family. Okay, so let's get into some examples here of what a day might be without dust collection, and then we'll look at how much better we can make that day with both source capture and use of downdraft table. So we'll start by making some dust with a non-vacuum tool. Okay, and we're going to see what that day turns out to be. Okay, so I'm sure we captured that plume of dust that was being created through that process. If we go now to our mini Raptor-Vac with source capture and vacuum tool, I think we're going to clearly see how that day betters through using dust collection and source capture tool. So I hope you captured that on the screen, but definitely a different day. So to take the idea of a full day of non-capture away and then give us the opportunity to take that dust right at the source into the system and collect it safely, obviously the opportunity for a healthy and safe day becomes very clear. Okay, let's go through the same demonstration, but let's see how our table works in respect to use, non-use, as well as use with table. So I'm not going to go as far as showing you dust again. We're going to turn the table on, if you could, Vince. Now you're going to see that dust migrate over the edge of the paint being drawn into that tabletop. again, I hope you could visually see how much better that day is going to be for the operator by utilizing any one of these dust collection systems.
Yeah, Scott, that was awesome. That was a big difference from non-vacuum to vacuum to downdraft. Yeah, that's very, very nice. Also, I heard you guys do like on-site demos. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We've got about 35, 36 Dynabrade reps out in the field. They are certainly willing to come on site with any one of the Wurth representatives. We've got right here, if you want to zoom in on that, Karen, we have a particle count meter that goes out with each and every one of our reps. What this particle count meter can help recognize is what the quality of air is before using dust collection, and then how we can improve it thereafter using any one of our source capture systems or downdraft tables. Okay, so very nice tool for our sales force. We'll certainly be willing to come on site to show you that visual, show you how much we improve the air quality, and it's really an eye-opening moment when you see how much better your air quality is with the use of any one of these dust collection systems. So great question.
Very nice. So I'm guessing we are ready to go see Mike construct a tool out in your warehouse or in your facility. What do you think? Sounds like a good time?
I say let's do it.
All right, let's bring on Mike. Actually really excited about this part. Mike, welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, Jason. Good. We're in the factory now. We're coming to you from the production area. It's a little bit louder out here, but we'll do our best to overcome that noise. So pretty close to me, our team is assembling some of the specialty tools like the backsplash sander and the lightweight Dynager that Vince showed you earlier. Next to that area is our clean air solutions assembly area. So the guys over there are putting together the portable and the downdraft sanding tables. Myself, I'm located right in the middle of our random orbital sander cell. Here we make random orbital sanders all day, every day, up to about 500 per day, actually. So now I want to show you some of the critical parts that go into the tool. Here is a rotor. Do my best to hold it up. And the cylinder. So the rotor fits into the cylinder, and these are machined to very tight tolerances. Now you'll see that it doesn't quite fit snugly, and that's quite by design. So the idea here is as the rotor spins in the cylinder, these slots would contain a rotor blade, which slides in and out up against the inner wall. And that is what creates the power for the orbital sander. So again, rotor and cylinder.
And these are all in-house made, right?
And this is what dictates the orbital of the random orbital sander. This particular one is etched with the number 5 and then also 3/16. So this counterbalance is designed specifically for the extreme sander with a 5-inch diameter backup pad that will have a 3/16 orbit. That's the counterbalance. These 3 parts and a few others come together to make our drop-in motor assembly. And this is a saleable unit. We sell it through Wurth to end users who are inclined to do their own repairs. It's a 5 to 10 minute repair to replace an old motor with a new motor. So a drop-in motor. And then the last element, we're very proud of this, is our backup pad. This is a 5-inch diameter backup pad for a 5-inch extreme. And as Vince mentioned, the diameter is important to be weight mated perfectly for the counterbalance. And again, this 5-inch pad is exactly 100 grams. If you put a 6-inch pad on a 5-inch tool, it will vibrate. Another nice element about the Dynabrade backup pads versus the competition is this single piece hub here. We see the threaded stud sitting on top of the metal plate. That is actually machined from one piece of metal. So what that does versus competitive backing plates is it will not vibrate. Any run out is eliminated over time. A 2-piece hub assembly will separate a little bit as the threaded stud separates from the metal plate, and you start to get some run out and vibration. So having a 1-piece assembly eliminates that entirely. And we're very excited. Up until about a year ago, we weren't making the backup pads, but now we are. So that gives us full control of the tools and the backup pads. And then I want to show you all together here. This is a cutaway. It's a pretty neat demonstration of what the inside of an extreme sander looks like. You can see the the drop-in motor or the motor assembly there, sitting in there with the counterbalance here, and then of course the backup pad. So when we talked about Dynabrade power to weight efficiency, this tool runs free speed at 12,000 RPM at free speed. Now, when it's applied to a work surface with a normal amount of pressure, let's say 5 to 6 pounds of downforce, our tools drop only a few percentage points in RPM versus our competition, because their parts aren't machined to the tolerances as Dynabrade, they will drop down to 5,000 or 6,000 RPM. So it's a very significant loss in RPM, which results in a slower moving disc, which results in the abrasive grain digging into the workpiece, and it's not a very good day. But the Dynabrade tool runs at the same speed all day, every day, allowing for a very consistent finish for the operator. So now
that is very nice.
And Steve's one of our assemblers.
So we're going to actually get to see a tool be put together, which is
of orbital sanders. The Spirit is another line of orbital sanders that Dynabrade manufactures, and we sell through Wurth. The difference between the Spirit and the Extreme is that the Spirit's a little bit lighter in weight, a little bit less horsepower, and we'll let Steve take it from here. Steve, how you going about assembling one of these?
Everybody, I'm Steve. Been here 7 years at Dynabrade. I do the final assembly and testing of our orbital sanders. This is a 316 Spirit. It's going to have a 6-inch vinyl pad made right here at Dynabrade. When you get started, we got our motor. We just grease it up a little bit. Set it in, then we can lock it down. This is a non-vac, so it's got a non-vac shroud. Now we test every tool here. Our orbitals are rated at 12,000 RPM. So I'm going to plug it in, see how fast it goes. Right at 12,000, it's pretty good. Next, I'm going to test the any vibrations in the pad or anything in the motor. We also want to listen to the motor to hear if there's any whining or any rattling or anything around that could be wrong with it. This one's pretty good. We cap it and it's ready for packaging.
All right, thanks, Steve. So, Jason, just like your Wurth customers recognize Wurth as the value provider, one-stop shop for your customers, we want your customers to think of Dynabrade much the same way. We are the global leader in abrasive power tools and clean air solutions. That is 100% our focus, and it's really what separates us from other tool manufacturers. Dynabrade sales team, direct sales team works quite often with the Wurth sales team out in the field, and our guys carry all the tools, all the accessories, all the abrasives for a very efficient and effective no obligation demonstration right at your customer. Something else we provide is a 100% free cost savings analysis. So what that means is our salesperson will go into the end user and look at their current state. They'll analyze their air system setup, their tool use, and their abrasive sequencing, and a few other things. They'll document that, and then they'll come back with a report providing some recommendations that can result in some very significant savings for the customer. We've been able to demonstrate tens of thousands of dollars in annual savings for different customer types. So that is something, again, 100% available through Wurth at no charge for the customer.
Yeah, that sounds great. So
thank everybody for tuning in today, and I'd like to wish you all the best of luck in the contest. It's a great giveaway. The package is worth over $500, and best of luck to everybody. Thank you very much.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike. And on behalf of Wurth, really like to say thank you to the entire team at Dynabrade. Thank you, Mike, Vince, Scott, everyone that made this event possible. It was fun getting a behind-the-scenes look at all of this. And if you are not a Wurth Bear Supply or a Wurth Lewis & Company, depending on what part of the country you live in, please just check it out. I think I have it in the description. Look up WurthBearSupply.com or Wurth Lewis wurth&company.com and find your rep. They can set you up with all the Dynabrade products, all the Wurth products. Basically have a Dynabrade representative come to your shop, show you a little bit of all their tools, give you a demo. Very, very nice, and definitely appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you guys. We will see you all next month on Wurth Live.